Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So let's talk a little bit about the dilemma related to measuring or using the measurement TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, as the measurement for the diagnosis of thyroid problems. So we are going to talk about, or I am going to talk about, the conversion of T4 to T3 or the conversion of T4 to reverse T3. So this is not a video or an article about the HPT axis, so the hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis, which is responsible for the production of T4 or stimulating the production of T4 in your thyroid. I'm going to talk about and have written an article called Regulating Thyroid Hormones and the Deiodinase Enzyme. So check that out, because this little video or this topic is very, very technical. But I'm going to talk about those enzymes which are responsible for converting T4 to T3 or to another hormone called reverse T3. And this is probably the missing link as to why TSH is not always the best way of testing for thyroid problems. Okay, so as I said, the production of T4 is under control of the HPT axis, but the conversion to T3 or to reverse T3 is under the control of some enzymes called deiodinase enzymes. Very, very difficult word for me to say. But unfortunately for me, they have abbreviations, and there's 3 different enzymes. One of them is called D1, and this will convert or activate T4 to become T3, primarily in your thyroid, in your liver and kidney. And this production of T3 is then transported in the blood to the rest of the cells of the body, which you're maybe measuring in the blood if you can get your doctor to measure T3. But D1 is a funny little enzyme because it also has a deactivating effect. So it can also deactivate or convert T4 to reverse T3. And it can even convert T3 to another thyroid hormone called T2, which is also not active. Important that we can control the activity or the availability of T3 so we don't become hyper overactive. Okay, so this little enzyme is down-regulated by physical and emotional stress, depression, insulin resistance, obesity, inflammation, etc. Have a look at the article, you'll see it all there. And D1 is represented in these cells of the body, the thyroid, the liver, and the kidney, and there's less of them in the pituitary gland. And this enzyme is responsible for about 30 to 50% of the conversion of T4 to T3. Nice little enzyme. So then we have D2. So D2 converts T4 to T3 and does not do anything else. And this is primarily in the pituitary and in the heart and muscle tissue. This is where we predominantly find D2. So D2 is going to convert maybe 80 to 90% of the T4 to T3. So it's a very, very important enzyme. Now, here's the catch. It is going to be down-regulated in the body, but up-regulated in the pituitary gland to those physiological conditions like stress, like inflammation, depression, insulin-resistant obesity, etc., etc. So note what I said there, that D2 is upregulated in the pituitary but downregulated in the body cells. Yes, so that can give a dilemma, okay? Now, D3, let's just have a little look at this final little enzyme here, is a deactivating enzyme. And this enzyme is not found in the pituitary, but it is found in the cells of the body. And it is responsible for converting T4 to reverse T3 and for converting T3 to T2. So we can decrease the levels of T3 that we have available, which is very, very important. So the dilemma, people, as you possibly already guessed, is that blood levels of T3 are maintained by this HPT axis, where low T3 in the blood is going to stimulate the axis to get you to produce more T4 and thereby produce more T3. But blood levels of T3 often reflect and are regulated by the pituitary's level of T3 and do not necessarily reflect the intracellular T3 of the cells of the body. You get that? So the pituitary, which doesn't have any D3 and has very little D1, so it's not going to be getting rid of its T3, and it is upregulated by, the production is upregulated by stress and by depression and inflammation and all these kind of things. The level of T3 in the pituitary is the one which the TSH is being based on, and not necessarily what's going on in the cells of your body. So that means that your TSH could be normal because your pituitary production of T3 is great, but the production of T3 in your body is not, in the body cells, is not as well as it should be. So you don't feel good and you're not making energy. So you're maintaining or increasing weight and you feel depressed and you're tired and you're freezing and all these kind of things. That is the major dilemma. And until we start recognizing this, or the medical world start recognizing this and starts making tests to test how much of these enzymes we have, and then possibly specific medications to support the production of some of these enzymes in the cells of the body, until this happens, it's going to be a little bit uphill related to the TSH measurement being the only way at the moment the medical world are testing for thyroid problems. Interesting. Check that article. There's lots more information. It is very nerdy and it is very detailed, but it is very important. And for you ladies especially who are not having any success with your doctors, or you're maybe on T4 as a medication, but you're still not making your T3, then this could be the reason why. But you need to address then some of those physiological conditions like being overweight, insulin resistance, having inflammation, being depressed, all these kind of things. They need to be addressed, because possibly then you will have an upregulation of your D2 enzyme and start producing more T3 in the cells of your body. Happy hormones, happy life.